I wanted to do a screen share with you guys today to show you how we have set my friend up for success with her omelet. So we're out for brunch. I'm like, okay, tell me what you eat for brunch. And then what I do is I hit this little microphone button here. It's not going to let me do it right now because we're on this call. But what I would do is tell it what she ate, and then I could just type it out here for this example. But she told me that she had 2 eggs, and then she told me that she had, oh my gosh, I have to remember what she put in there. Let's say she put like a quarter cup of cheese, and then she put a quarter cup of olives, and then there's something else she put in there. How much cheese and olives? Quarter cup, diced peppers. Oh, sourdough. She had it with 2 slices of sourdough bread with butter. She said, half a tablespoon of olive oil to grease the pan. Okay, so that was her breakfast. And I'm like, girl,
Whoa.
your breakfast is sitting at 700 calories. I'm like, your protein's nice. It's sitting around 30. I like to see that. But I mean, if you're trying to be in a deficit, that might be a little bit more challenging. I'm like, would you like to find a way to eat the foods that you're already eating and just make 1 or 2 changes or substitutions or eliminations, find where you can cut some calories and still eat the same thing? She's like, I would love to learn how to do that. Let's see how low we can get it. So then the first thing I suggested was that I think she said 3 eggs actually originally too. But anyway, so the first thing I suggested is let's replace 1 egg with 100 milliliters of egg whites to start. And then she's like, you know what? I don't need 2 slices of sourdough. I could do just one. And she's like, you know what? I don't even need butter on my sourdough because like my egg's going on it anyways. I don't even taste the butter. So I was like, oh, okay, sweet. I was like, what about that olive oil? I'm like, why is there so much olive oil? She's like, oh, it's just like for the pan for the egg. First of all, why on earth do you need half a tablespoon of olive oil to grease a pan for 2 eggs? I was like, girl, 2 options here. We can either like take a piece of paper towel and we can dab it with the olive oil, and then you can just like rub onto the pan to grease it up a little bit. Or we could get like a spray. But keep in mind, the spray isn't actually 0 calories like it says on the can. And so what I will do is I'll place my can, if I'm using a can, I would put it on the scale, I would zero it out, and then I would use it, and I would put the can back on the scale, and then whatever deficit it shows, like -10, then that would be what I'm logging is 10 milliliters of olive oil or whatever, right? Or for the dab method, same thing applies. You can put the bottle on the scale, zero it out, and then dab the paper towel, and you'll probably use like very, very little. It might not even pick up on it. Okay, so then if I'm gonna make these changes, biggest calorie, this is sweet. ChatGPT is already like, this is where you need to reduce calories. You got olive oil, butter, cheese, sourdough, and this is where they're roughly coming down. And so the number one thing that I'll do, if you guys have like had me like break down your foods in the past, is like I'll look at a meal. So like let's say we're over our calories by 250 calories. I'm gonna look at my day and I'm gonna go look at where can I remove 150 to 250 calories where I might reduce a quantity of something. So let's say I'm using half of the olive oil serving. That can remove 30 calories right there. Maybe I eliminate the butter. That can remove 70 calories right there. Maybe I remove the cheese. 110 calories gone just like that. Sourdough. Maybe I'm having 1 slice instead. All right, only 110 calories. So those are some different ways that I can look at the day and go, okay, these are the foods I like to eat. Where am I willing to make a sacrifice or an adjustment? The next thing would be like replacing the eggs with egg whites instead. And like maybe that's replacing 1 egg, and then maybe it's progressing towards all egg whites. Totally up to you. Like, I want you to enjoy the food that you eat, but also find ways to eat the food that you enjoy while still hitting your macros and still setting yourself up for success. So, what we would do here is like, um, replace one egg. Is this all making sense so far, ladies?
Yep.
Perfect. Replace one egg with 100 milliliters of egg whites. I'm going to um oh yeah, we went for olive oil spray instead for the olive oil. So use olive oil spray instead. um 1 slice of sourdough bread, no butter, and then no cheese, because that would be me. I like to save my cheese for my cheese snack. Replace one egg with. Everyone thinks I'm weird because I won't put cheese on my hamburgers, and I'm like, I'm not gonna waste precious cheese opportunities on a hamburger when I'd rather eat it in a plate on its own at the end of the day. I'm weird. But like again, I'm thinking
No,
about
I
my
agree.
budget. I'm like, where do I want to spend this? And it's like, do I want to spend 100 plus calories extra on this hamburger, or do I just want to save it and actually get the cheese that I enjoy at the end of the day that's lactose free, that's old cheddar, whatever, versus this like plastic garbage, you know? I don't know. And that's where it's like you use your discretion. And like I know a lot of people talk about that food guilt if you go over to like your moms or like your family members and they're always like, oh, I made this, you got to try this and you got to try this and eat this. I'm so disciplined with that stuff. I'm like, is this something that I actually like? Like, I love cheesecake. So if I'm going somewhere and they're like, try my cheesecake, I'm like, absolutely spending my calories on that, hands down. But if they're like, try my chocolate cake, I'm like, man, it's okay. I don't hate chocolate cake, but it's not like my favorite. So I might not invest my calories that day in that and be like, no, I'm okay. Like I'm good because I just know that it's gonna put me way over and it's not something that's like my favorite thing. So that's kind of how I justify it in those moments. And the amount of times like people have offered me things, they're like, wow, you're so disciplined. I'm like, I just don't want to spend my calories and I just look at it like a budget and I look at it like money. I'm like, I just don't want to waste that on that. I'd rather just save it on something I really like and fit it into my day. Anyway, so replace one egg with 100 milliliters of egg whites. Use olive oil spray instead. One sourdough, no cheese, no butter, blah, blah, blah. All right. New cows, let's go from 700 calories to roughly 250 to 300. Now, we notice the protein goes significantly down here. So then it's like, oh, because where did I lose that protein? The cheese was a little bit of that protein.
Egg
Um,
yolks.
no, because I replaced it with egg whites, and the egg yolk isn't what's going to carry the majority of the protein. The bread might have had a little bit, but nothing else. Um, recalculate, and sometimes it's wrong. Protein, and this is just like trying to get a rough estimate. When I actually track this in my fitness pal, I'll get accurate numbers, but this is just like giving me rough ideas for you guys to see like what the changes could be and what that would look like. Maybe they messed up something else. Hmm. I don't know. Anyways, it breaks it down for me. But then if I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I'm hitting 30 grams to set myself up for the day, I'm already sitting at roughly 300 calories, but it doesn't pass the protein test, right? If it's only got 20 grams of protein, we don't want the calories more than 200. Real, like ideally, it's not always gonna be perfect like that, but that's kind of the goal. So then I'm gonna say maybe I'm add half a cup of 1% cottage cheese. Cheese. All right. So that looks a little bit better for my protein test, right? I'm hitting maybe roughly 35 grams of protein, and I'm sitting around that for my calories as well. So that's going to be a little bit more aligned with being a good protein source. Does that make sense, ladies?
It does.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen with y'all for a second before we move on. Any questions on that? Oops.
Um, it's sort of a related question, if that's
Okay,
okay.
of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when I go to oh um my Fitness Pal,
Mhm.
a lot of times lately, every time, not every time, but a lot of times when I input a food, it says, oh, there's no such food or it's not in there. And I'm talking like squash, bacon,
Mm,
like some normal
this is
things.
coming down for me. This is typically when this happens, it's a service issue. So there might be something going on service wise, is what that's telling me. Because
Okay.
anytime like if my Wi-Fi, like if my data's, if I don't have good service phone wise, or if my Wi-Fi's not working properly, and I go to like search a food, that's when that happens. So that would be the best assumption for me based on my own experience with that.
Okay. But shouldn't my oh, I'm not the most computer literate person in the world. Like if I'm not on Wi-Fi, shouldn't my data be stronger?
Um, So your data is strong if you have full bars. Like if you have all 5 bars, your data should ideally be strong. But let's say you only have 1 or 2 bars, or sometimes certain buildings, it'll still show that you have bars, but certain like every time I go into the grocery store, I can never use my data. Every time because I have to go to the post office and I can never pull up anything to like show them the code for my pickup because nothing loads in there. Even though I have good service on my bars, if I'm in that building for some reason, it interrupts my data. So
Oh,
sometimes it could be a building as well.
hmm that
Um,
could be. Yeah. Although I have found that at home too. And usually I don't have any problems at home.
mm,
I'll go stand
mhm.
beside a window or something.
That would be my best theory on that one. Otherwise, I really don't know why, but I have experienced that in the past, and it was just like my connection wasn't great, and that's why it wasn't because it's all on a database on the Wi-Fi, and so sometimes it wouldn't even like search foods that I've already put in before because usually it's like in the immediates, but
Right.
it won't even recognize that because it's not connected properly.
Okay.
Um,
I think personally what you just showed about how to substitute things, I think that is really quite valuable. Yeah.
it's been such a game changer with like just if I'm looking at a pattern and if I'm looking at you guys and your like weekly logs and I'm seeing a pattern of being over 250 calories and we want to stay within plus or minus 100, then I'm going to go in and go, okay, where is it that we need to address 150 to 250 calories to stay within that 100-calorie range? And then I'm going to look at your days and the first thing I look at is I'm going to look at where are the most calories. I'm going to look at your meals, and that's where it's helpful for me to see each category because then I can go, where are they spending the most calories? Is it breakfast, lunch, or dinner? And then I'm
Hmm.
going to target that as, okay, oh my goodness, breakfast has 700 calories. What's going on here? And then I'm going to go check it out. And I'm going to go see what was breakfast. Okay, for today's example, it was an omelet. So for that omelet, what am I going to do to try and make that 700-calorie omelet down to closer of my goal? And if I'm thinking about that goal, what is that? What do I want that to look like? For myself, what I think about is I'm going to share my screen. Oh, how do I? What I do for myself, and this is a really helpful tactic of let's say I'm going to have 3 meals, 3 meals plus some snacks throughout the day. And like again, you can use this to like however you set up your day, but like let's say that's my standard. Let's say my goal is 1800 calories. I'm going to divide this by 4. So that's going to give me roughly 450 calories per meal plus within my snacks. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm looking at 700 calories as my breakfast and I want to get it down to 450, then I'm going to figure out ways that I can adjust that to bring it down so then I have at least a target in mind, right? So then I know how I'm setting myself up to make sure I'm hitting my calories. And again, guys, like this is just me teaching you how to do this manually yourself. Like realistically, you could just screenshot your food log and post this into ChatGPT and go, how can I eat these same exact foods but still hit my calories and my protein and my fiber? It'll just do it for you and it'll give you a recommendation. But this is like just to teach you that you can do this yourself and make those like compromises with yourself and go, okay, I need to eliminate 250 calories from my day because that's how much over I went. Where can I eliminate those calories from my day? Okay, I'm gonna have half of this. Or you know what? This meal doesn't even need this, so I'm gonna take this out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I could also do that with my protein. So let's say my protein is 135 for the day. I divide that by 4. All right. Every meal, the goal is give or take 34 grams of protein minimum, right? So that I'm on track with my goal and within my snacks. Oops. Okay. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay. Any questions so far about any of that before I go into one last topic for today's call before I take up too much of your time?
Nope. I've actually been putting my dinner together while we've been talking, and I've been keeping that in mind.
I love it. I love it. I like these were such small swaps that I could make along my fitness journey because it was like I would have a healthy food, just like my friend, she'd make a healthy meal, but we didn't realize like all these small ways that we're just adding a ton of calories without even realizing, such as the oils and how much oil we're using. Even though we're not really thinking about eating the oil, it is getting in our food and we are consuming it. Or things where it's like I don't need cheese on that. I don't need to spend those calories. It's not like a huge part of this meal or I might reduce something else, whatever. Now, the other thing that I want to go over with you ladies today, and that I want you to implement moving forward, and we'll teach you how to do that on today's call, is the 80-20 balance, which I know we've talked about plenty in the past. And if you haven't heard me talk about it, it's basically saying that ideally, 80% of your food intake is coming from nutrient dense, whole source foods, single ingredient foods. Chicken, beef, pork, carrots, cucumber, potatoes, apples, rice, everything, butter, like everything is like, well, if you made homemade, but anyways, single ingredient, like ideally, like 80%. Nutrient dense, from the earth, real foods. 20% is for the processed foods that we live around, or the guilty pleasures, or the things that bring you joy, the things that are going to make this not feel restrictive or like feel like you're on a diet. Because I'm super against diet culture. I don't think it's sustainable to feel like we're on a diet. If we can learn, because like that was for me, like the hardest thing was just always trying to set myself on a diet. I was like, I'm just going to go buy all the healthy foods. I'm going to fill my fridge with all these foods, and then I'm just going to eat it all week. And then at the end of the week, I would just throw out everything from my fridge because it all went bad. I ended up getting takeout all week. I'm wasting money and spending more money. And I'm like, okay, this is not working. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I was like, I need to make a smaller goalpost because this is not sustainable. And so I made a goal of myself and I was like, you can eat whatever you want, whatever you want. You can eat all the same foods. You can eat the bagel with the cream cheese, and you can eat the chicken nuggets and french fries, and you can eat the pizza, but you have to get it from the grocery store. You have to make it yourself. You can still eat the shit food, but it's got to come from the grocery store. You have to make it yourself. And that way, there, I took back some control. I felt out of control and powerless to this like addiction to fast food and like justifying that I didn't have time. And yet, it actually took a lot more time out of my day to go and drive into a drive-through or like wait for takeout or whatever, like realistically, long-term wise. But that small adjustment, when I made that goal of myself, I remember feeling so ridiculous. I'm like, wow, like I can't even like eat healthy food. Like this is ridiculous. But that small goal and actually sticking to it and getting a small win. And I was like, oh my God, I actually stuck to it. At the end of the week, I was like, oh my God, I actually cooked from home all week. That's amazing. That's awesome. I love this. I didn't spend a bunch of money on takeout. Sweet. It actually was great. Awesome. Win. Next week, 1% better. How can I make this a little healthier? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do tacos. Tacos are relatively healthy. And then the next week is like, oh, I'll do a taco salad. That'll be healthier. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna replace the sour cream with Greek yogurt. That'll be healthier. And it was just 1% better. And I built upon eating the foods that I love. And that's why I'm so against like a diet and this like cutting out food groups, like because it's not sustainable. You don't like you're gonna eventually go back to the things that you want to eat. So like how can we just like fit it in? How can we make it a good balance between the two? And that's where the 80-20 comes in. And this is where I think has been the most sustainable thing that I've used in my fitness journey. And so 20%, and I get a number for this because I'm like, okay, what does 20% of my day realistically look like? And maybe that's my snacks. So for me, maybe all of my meals are really focused on being nutrient dense, whole source foods. And then I spend my snacks as my guilty pleasures. So what I do, oops, let me share my screen first. I apologize for my voice, ladies. I'm trying here. uh, Start broadcast. All right. You see my screen? Everyone can see that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so if I'm looking at my rough estimate, my rough goal being 1800, I'm just gonna multiply this by 20, right? I'm gonna get
360.
so 360, yeah. So now I have a daily budget. I have a daily budget of 360 calories a day I can spend on whatever I want. So now I can eat the foods that I want guilt-free because I know it's within my 20%. And is that always going to be perfect? No, absolutely not. But now, every time I have those guilty pleasures, I always track it in my 20%. So I can actually watch those trends and how much I'm staying within that 20%, how much of my day is actually coming from nutrient-dense whole source foods, and how much of it is coming from processed foods, packaged foods, multiple ingredients, things that aren't going to be ideal, right? So, how are we going to do this for a visual moving forward? So this is what we're going to do. And you can do this with me because it'll let you like kind of slide out of our call so you can like follow along and still see me as I show you this. But what we're going to do, and this is going to be our homework, and then we're going to go post it in the group as well, is we're going to add our 20% category in MyFitnessPal. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today. Okay, so I already have it in here with my calories written beside it, so I know exactly how much I'm going to, oops, add to Amazon. Okay, so to add this category, or maybe you just replace snacks with 20%, totally up to you on how you want to do it. I know I've gone over this with Miss Lisa, and she has different categories for like the names of the meals that we had gone over that day with like more based on fueling yourself throughout the day. But going under more, and then we go under, I believe, nutrition. Nope, wrong.
I'm sorry, where was the first thing you went to?
Sorry, more, the three dots in the bottom right corner, right beside the big plus sign for me here.
Oh,
More. So it's going to kind of bring you to your settings page. And then I believe, I think it's my meal. Oops. No, where did I put it? Settings. Settings. Yeah, here it is, diary settings. So under settings, diary settings,
okay.
and then custom meal names. So you can add a meal. So that's where I added a fifth category on top of snacks, or you could even change snacks. So what you want to do is you want to look at your calories that I've assigned you. You're going to multiply that by 20%, and then you're going to put 20% as a meal, or you can replace snacks with it, whatever you'd like. And then you're going to put how much that rough range is for your calories per day that is put towards your 20%. And what's cool about this too is that I can even see this on my end. So when you add these categories, I'll be able to see where you're kind of sitting on average for that 20% throughout the week because I'll be able to like check each category. Does that make sense? Stop.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'll just change. I have one called treats. I'll just have to change that over to be the 20% maybe.
I like treats. And like you could keep it saying treats and then just put beside it your calories. Because I just find it's useful to see the calorie number and then see what I'm hitting specifically for that category. And like you could do that like even for your meals too. It's like that example I gave you with the divided by 4. This would be a little bit adjusted with your 20%, then you'd be dividing your 80% by 3 for those meals. If let's say that's how you wanted to categorize it, but then you could divide that and then you could get the rough calories for each meal as well. and then you could have like a rough, and then you just have those numbers there instead of it being like a total for the day. But I don't also believe that the distribution has to be equal either. I do believe that the best way to set yourself up for success with distributing your calories is having more calories at the beginning of your day and then less at the end of your day. Um, the reasons being, number one, if you're consuming more of your calories at the beginning of your day, you're going to be able to use those calories for energy, right? So ideally, you're having the more calories so that you have better brain function, you have better workouts, you have the energy to supply getting through your day. Versus at the end of the day, you don't need as many calories because you're getting ready to go to bed, right? And so if you can have smaller meals at the end of the day, this is going to be beneficial for your optimal actual like rest quality. So if you have a like a Fitbit or a watch, oftentimes if you go in there, it can tell you the amount of hours you slept, but you could sleep 9 hours and still have shit quality sleep. So being able to monitor your sleep quality can be really important too. And this is where like if you're having a large amount of calories, larger meals, which tend to like most traditional Western culture do have larger meals for dinner traditionally. When you have so many more calories at the end of your day, now your rest and digest is going to be interrupted. So now your body, instead of resting, instead of repairing your muscle and building your muscle while you're asleep, it's now having to spend energy and time digesting the food instead of going right to work on the muscles and all the other things it's got to do to like get a proper sleep. So that could also be something where we're noticing our sleep quality isn't great, but our sleep amount is good. So small adjustments like that, where we're creating more time and space between supper time and sleep time, is a really great tactic, as well as smaller meals at the end of the day and trying to save calories at the beginning. But that's not always the best strategy either. And I don't always talk about it just because if someone's trying to stay in a deficit and they're having a hard time with that, it might not set them up for success if they're having a large amount of their calories at the beginning of their day and then still having large meals at the end of their day and then just like having more calories throughout. And so for them, I might focus on reducing meals more so into smaller meals and then having a little bit more room for when things kind of go out of hand that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
that
again,
makes
it's
sense.
it's always just like small things, and that's where it's just like everything we can kind of work and dial in. There's always going to be one thing we can dial in a little bit more, but it's always just like how specific or how dialed in do we want to get, and that really depends on your goals at the end of the day. And that's like we establish one thing and then we can add something else. And like with the workouts, right? You guys have noticed that you get through one phase and then your next phase is typically maybe a little bit harder, or there might be something a little bit more challenging because you keep getting stronger and better, that we're going to keep raising the bar. That's why we don't stay at the same weight. We add a little bit more. We add more reps so that we can progressively get stronger. It does get easier over time, but it's also harder. Like we're able to lift more weight over time that would have been impossible from the beginning, that we've been able to raise that baseline, right?
Yep. I use custom calorie counts. Like in my Fitness Pal, I have it set in my Fitness Pal for each of my meals, and I try and hit those calorie targets.
You pay for it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just a paid feature. I've never seen
Oh
that.
yeah, it's a paid feature
Yeah.
because I had I had to have the barcode scanner,
See,
and
I've been grandfathered in, so I still have the barcode scanner, but I don't have to pay
yeah,
for it. So I've gotten lucky that way. But that is really silly that they haven't kept that for the free users.
yeah, because it's really frustrating because
Oh,
sometimes
it's
it's
such a
just so
useful
much more
thing.
convenient.
I agree. Um, Ladies, did we get value from today's call?
Yes, absolutely.
Always do.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I'm glad that we can gain some value. Now, all that I asked from you ladies today, I appreciate you spending a lovely hour with me on your Thursday evenings. I appreciate you all. Um, Go post your biggest takeaways in the groups. Make sure that you do your homework. Put the 20% in your category so that I can also keep an eye on it. But it's more for you because I love seeing the 20% for myself because then I can really like see where I'm spending my calories or like and it's not to shame or judge you. This is like specifically for you to use this as data. Imagine you're a scientist and you're just looking at this and it's like if I go over my 20%, okay, why? And my deeper question is always why. I'm just like a child. I'm like, why? But why? And so I'm like, why? What happened? Like, did it come down to I didn't properly nourish myself throughout the day and I didn't get enough protein in, and now I'm craving more sweets, and now I'm eating more chocolate than I should at the end of the day and getting more calories from that because I didn't properly fuel myself? Okay, data point. Is it because something emotional just happened and then I use food as a coping strategy? Okay, data point. Is it because I'm trying to like just dissociate or numb out and just like it's the end of my day and it's just habitual to like eat food and watch TV? Okay, data point. And then we look at these patterns and then we go, okay, what am I trying to satisfy here? Because I'm obviously like, is it from hunger or is it from boredom or is it emotional? And then we can actually address the actual root of the issue versus consistently getting frustrated that we're always going over our calories and that it feels impossible to stay within our deficit, and instead or just like stay or hitting our targets, hitting our protein, etc. Instead we're going to use it as data points and then go, okay, how can I set myself up for the utmost success? Here are some really great strategies and some great tools. And again, like we really like broke it down today in terms of like what that looks like manually, but again, you can just take screenshots and post it in the chat and it will give you exactly. And that's, Miss Kathleen, the most important part here, right, is knowing those exact quantities. So what I do is like if I know what I'm already going to eat, for example, okay, ChatGPT, I want to have a smoothie for breakfast, and then I want to have a taco sweet potato bowl for lunch, and then I want to have a cheese turkey bacon pizza on a keto wrap for supper, and I want to make a high protein chocolate cheesecake for my dessert with some raspberries. And this is literally my meal plan that I just gave to you guys. And then I would post that. I would just tell ChatGPT, I would just like voice record myself. I'd put that into ChatGPT. I already know exactly what I want to eat. I just don't want to do the mental work of calculating how much I need to eat of everything. And so then it's just going to tell me, okay, you need 150 grams of extra lean ground beef. You need 200 grams of sweet potatoes. You need 150 milliliters of skyr. And like, it's just going to give everything. And then I know exactly how much to eat. And then if something doesn't work for me, then I can adjust it and I can go, oh, I don't want to have that much of that. I want this much, readjust, and then it will adjust something else. So I don't have to sit there and like do the math. But that is going to be the game changer. Like if you already know what you want to eat, that's like the easiest part because then you can just tell chat, this is what I want to eat. Just give me the quantities so I know that I'm hitting my targets of this, this, and this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Any questions or concerns for me, ladies, before we head off and I lose my voice?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, let's go.
I'm finding this a lot of work. And I appreciate that. Yeah, but this is the steps I have to go through. But I know that my progress reports at the end of the week have been almost pretty much non-existent. But I just, for me to go and do that, and then I got to go and look back at all the other, the days and what I had done and
So you
this and
have
that.
an iPad, right?
Yeah,
And you have a phone?
yeah,
You have Everfit downloaded on both?
I do.
Perfect. So then what I would do when I'm filling out my weekly report is I would have it on one device, let's say on my phone, and then on my iPad, I would have all of the info laid out. So like for example, um, yeah, and then have my Fitness Pal on there too. But if like let's say you're tracking daily your fiber intake in task, then you would go into your task and you can see the whole week and see how consistent you were throughout the week when you track it every day, right?
Yeah. So I don't
But
have to go back to each one individually.
exactly. So like I suggest always having like again habit stack with something you already do every single day, and then
Hmm.
habit stacked with I get into the app and I go check off all of my habits that I've done today. And then like to check off your fiber, you're checking in my Fitness Pal. You know where to see that?
Yep, I do.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So then we're looking at that, and then for for that one there, for calories, I don't have that as a daily habit. I should have that as a daily habit. I just try to reduce as many check marks as I can for you girls. But you could go into my Fitness Pal, and then you could look at your week view, or not even my Fitness Pal. No, you can stay right into Everfit, and you go under your nutrition, and then you go over your week view, and it'll show you your calories throughout each day. and then you can look at throughout the whole week. Okay, these days I was all within my calories. It should show you a line as well, and it'll show you which ones you stayed within.
Okay, so all the stuff from My Fitness Pal crosses over to EverFit.
Yes. I can't show you my phone right now because I didn't link it. My macros aren't turned on this end for me. Actually,
No, that's okay. So okay,
might be
so if
able to do
I'm
it.
doing that, where do I go for that? Because I have mine open right now.
Okay, so on the main today page,
Yeah,
and then you're gonna see nutrition.
yeah.
Okay, and then it should give you like the ability to see by weekly. It might show you like today, and then you should see your week. Oh, okay. I'm able to turn this on. I'm gonna check for you right now and guide you through this. Refresh this. Okay, perfect. All right, nutrition. Okay, yeah. So if you see in the middle, it shows you daily view today. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna select that, and then it's gonna say weekly view.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm on the today page.
Yeah, and then under nutrition,
Nutrition, yeah.
and then you're gonna see daily view right in the middle there.
Oh, yeah, a percentage of daily goals.
At the top, like not the percentage, but like it just says at the top daily view right above the percentage today.
No, it doesn't say that.
Do you see summary?
Nope.
If you look at like the top bar, what do you see nutrition?
I don't have any bars that I'm looking at. I just went,
Okay, hold on, let me share my screen with you. Share screen. Okay, here. Okay, so you're here, and then you
yeah.
see nutrition. Oh, what? They added scan a meal? Shut up. That's a new feature. Ooh, I'm gonna try that later and see the accuracy on that. Ooh, that's exciting.
Oh, okay. I
I
just had
just
to
had to
touch
touch
on.
on.
Okay.
Okay,
All
you see
right.
this?
So I
So I
have
have
that.
that. You see this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and then you're hit daily view. Do you see that?
Yes.
Hit that. Do you see weekly view?
Yes.
Perfect. Hit that.
Okay.
Okay, um, so now it shows you your whole week, right?
Not really.
Well, right now we're Thursday, so you should see like something like this.
It's
It's
showing
showing
I
I
have
have
one
one
long
long
bar
bar
for
for
Monday
Monday
and a
and a
tiny one
tiny
for
one for
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Well, did you finish your tracking on Tuesday?
I
I
thought I
thought I
did.
did.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes it is like sometimes it is delayed, so that's why I ask you ladies oftentimes if it's a glitch, because sometimes I've given people shit for not tracking and it just didn't like load into EverFit yet. So sometimes it is delayed randomly. But don't stress about it right now.
No.
Family, just watch my screen here so you can see how to like. So let's say I'm looking at my check-in at the end of the week. If I want to see if I stayed, let's say, okay, Monday, I went over on the 1800 calories, I would click it and then I'd see, okay, if my goal was 1800, my plus or minus 100, that max would be 1900, right? And so if that was 2100, I'm over my calories that day. So that didn't count. So that one I would be like, okay, that's not my day. And then, oh, this one, I'm within my calories because I'm at 1856 and I have up until 1900. So that day I got it, right? And so that this is where you can check on one screen, see your total, and then you could look at your check-in form and then be able to see where your calories were aligned throughout the week and where you went over. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Um, do you have a question?
No. I will look at it later when I'm at home.
Okay, so this is just for the calories specifically, and then let's say we're looking at the protein. Well, then in the task, then we're checking off the protein every day so we can see that we've hit the protein each day, right?
Okay.
So then we would just look under, like if I'm doing my check-in on one page, I don't have habits set on here for myself. If I had the habits here, then I'd open up the habit. And if I click each habit, so let's say it's the protein that we track or the steps or whatever, you click on it, it's going to open up the month, right? So if you see on your end, if you go under your habit, so sharing here. Under the main today page, you see where your habits are all listed,
Yes.
and then select one of your habits.
Oops, wait a second. No, I'm on the wrong page. Today.
Does
Okay.
anyone else have any questions while we're figuring this out? I don't want to hold you girls if you have any questions.
I just set up my Fitness Pal just so that you know.
Okay,
But
perfect.
I don't know where to find the fiber. I know you guys just kind of mentioned it, but I'm kind of scrolling through it and I don't know
Yeah,
where it's
totally.
located.
So for the fiber, like it doesn't show under our macros. I'll just give us a quick screen share here. So if I am under today,
Mhm.
they just like redesigned this. It's all different, so I'm a little slower with navigating. But if I hit where my calories here are, and I come here, so I just click right here in the center calories where my goal for the calories are. I select that. Are you following with me on your end?
Yeah, I'm watching what you're doing and then
Okay.
I'm going to do it on my own.
Well, okay, you can put me in the corner and follow along, but otherwise, it'll bring you to this page here. You're going to select nutrients in the middle, and then it's the third one there, fiber.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, I don't know why they
Put all
don't
this away.
they don't do that simpler, but yeah, that's you just. And then once you select it on nutrients, it usually just stays on nutrients. And then again, like if we wanted to, we could look at like the week average and see where the numbers are hitting. But I mean, ideally for fiber, we want to track in EverFit so then we can actually see the weekly, daily average, and then we can like attack more of that specific day versus I just see the week average. I'm not able to actually like click and select on my end where it's coming from. Then I can't give like direct feedback and go, okay, like this is where we could add a little bit more fiber here throughout the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just need to know how to allow you access to it.
Yeah, so that one there, you're just going to come under more. You're going to go to settings. You're going to go to sharing and privacy, diary sharing, and then you're going to set it to public and make sure you hit the corner, the arrow in the corner so that it saves. And then you're going to go into EverFit. You're going to go under you. You're going to go under settings in the top right corner. You're going to go into app integration. You're going to go into MyFitnessPal, and then you're going to put your username. So like where I'd find that in profile, whatever my username is, I'm going to put that into EverFit. But there is a video on this in the on-demand section under onboarding, and it's just like a quick little screen replay of what I just went over with you.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Pamela.
You know what? I'm okay. I don't know if I'm okay, but I was looking at my Fitness Pal, not EverFit.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes a lot more sense then. Okay, so if you're in EverFit under the Today page, select one of your daily habits. Like click under like whatever one.
Fiber.
Okay, perfect. And then click it again where you can like open it up.
Oh, on the inside, you mean? No. What do you mean click it again?
Like did it open up a calendar for you?
Yes, I've
Okay,
got
perfect.
the insight.
Yeah. Okay, you have the date, you have the calendar, and you see all the blue ones or no blue ones?
Yep.
Okay, that is what we look at for the check-in. So like you'll have one screen check-in, you'll have one screen this page, and you'll just go through each habit, and then you can see the whole week of how many days you track throughout the week.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's where it's like it's a lot easier for you guys if you track or if you do your check-ins on Sunday, because then you can see the whole week and go, okay, from Monday to Sunday, I got all blue check marks. That was 7 out of 7. Or oh, I've
Okay.
only got 3, and then it allows you to like do a quick review for each like because most of those questions are from the habits there. Do you guys think it would be beneficial for me to add the calories there so that when you do your check-ins, you can all keep it in the habits and just check through there versus having to check through your nutrition to see how accurate your calories are? Or do you feel like having an extra task to check off is overwhelming?
It wouldn't be overwhelming for me.
Okay. It'd be easier for you to keep track at the end of
Yeah.
the week for those check-ins because you find that that's probably like your
Yes.
biggest obstacle. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd prefer calories maybe over either the daily or the gratitude.
Man,
Check
I
mark.
suggested removing both of those and y'all all voted against it. I was like,
Well,
you guys want me to
no,
remove
I
either?
actually
You
like
never
them.
voted for them. I was like, okay.
I actually like them because it does keep me on track with them. But can you just have unlimited habits? Like, can you put as many in
Know
there
how
as you
many
want?
habits I can give. I don't know what my limit is, but I don't
mean,
know.
'cause if you could just add another habit, then yeah, throw in
Yeah,
calories. 'Cause that
oh
might
yeah, I can
be
add another. I just don't
beneficial.
want to overwhelm you with the amount of check marks you have to do in a day because I find like, like it can be a lot. I do have a lot of tasks to check off and I don't want to like make it more so, but I
I'm
think it would probably be
neurodivergent. I
helpful.
like going.
Okay,
ding.
perfect. Me too. I'm the same. I love the check marks personally. Okay, so I'll do that. Any other questions or concerns before we head off, ladies? I know we've taken up a good
Yeah.
chunk of your
My step tracker on Everfit doesn't match what my Fitbit says.
Sometimes it could be delayed, or your Fitbit might not be properly connected, and it might only be tracking your like Apple Health or whatever your phone is connected to. So again, you're gonna go under your settings, and then you're gonna go under app integrations. But I'll send you a video for that one.
Okay.
It'll guide you on how to access app integrations, and then just make sure you connect my Fitbit.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
questions, ladies? You're
No, I'm
welcome.
not asking anymore.
I
I have to go.
No.
My phone's almost dead and I still have to go to the
Right.
gym.
Oh no. Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you all so much for joining me on today's live. Don't forget, go post your biggest takeaway in the group and make sure that you do your homework. Add the 20% to MyFitnessPal so you guys can start to track and see where we're spending and having balance within your day so you can enjoy the foods you love guilt-free and that you can make better investments with your nutrition. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Lizzie.